Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a little bit of a weird topic to go and cover, so have an open mind when we go and talk about this video. And I'm not really sure if this is like bait or not, but it seems like the overall community does kind of agree with this, and kind of like somehow I've also been noticing this, and it's kind of a really just weird topic. So I want to go and cover on it because number one, I am kind of, I guess, like a news reporter, if you guys can even kind of count it of that, but also a little bit more on the entertainment side too. And I think it's just a very intriguing topic, so hopefully I don't sound like a crazy incel or something. But I'm going to try to keep an open mind when I'm going through this little Twitter thread talking about the uglification of women in video games. Now, you guys might be kind of thinking, like, what on earth is this topic? What on earth is this video going to be? And why is this random guy talking about this? Well, God only knows. I'm just an idiot who ends up on making YouTube videos. But I think the idea behind it is that a lot of people kind of notice that some of the female characters in video games or mainstay characters are kind of ugly, dude. Like, they're kind of bad. There was a really big controversy when it comes to Fable, where the Fable main character kind of looked like a weird Shrek character. In all honesty, they did not necessarily look like the most traditionally attractive. Now, hopefully, I don't end up roasted on this or someone making fun of me. But in overall theory, like, you could still be a good, powerful, strong woman. You know, be an independent character. You don't have to always necessarily be the best looking. 100% okay with that. Like, women empowerment, we're down with that. But when it comes to this, for some odd reason, a lot of games are seemingly having difficulties in making their characters like look and seem pretty. And if you guys want to have more of a better example for some more recent games besides just that Fable example, when you look at Stellar Blade, I had played through the Stellar Blade game, and I'm pretty much almost at the end of the game. Phenomenal game. But there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of bad media attention and people discussing and talking about the fact that the characters in Stellar Blade were like unrealistic, impossible for beauty standards. They're just trying over there to have men like grovel over the character, and just for some odd reason, a lot of apprehension on the game. Now, I kind of was always pretty much against it the entire time, and one big thing to note is that the game itself is phenomenally well made, like one of the better games I've played in quite some time. Very clean animations, unique characters, kind of a strange story, but it reminds me of Nier, and Nier is one of my favorite games of all time, and overall the game itself was a really well-rounded game. There is good progression, good characters, side stories, the lore is in depth, like the animations, like I said, looked very nice, variety of gameplay, like the game itself was a cool game. And of course, it was behind a beautiful woman, but does that really matter? I still thought the game was fun, and I would have played that same exact game and would have been intrigued in that same exact game if the main character was a guy. But obviously, the character itself was just part of the marketing. Something wrong with that. I think it's fine. But we're seeing this Twitter thread over here from Grum saying something big happened yesterday, and most people missed it. Every theory we had about the uglification of women in AAA gaming turned out to be true. Look at what happened to Jean Grey from Insomniac Games, Marvel's Wolverine from these leaked early screenshots of the first beautiful model to the masculine, world-weary version we have today. They are ruining Marvel. And yes, Marvel's Wolverine is a Sweet Baby Inc. game. We were told that there was difficulty in scanning actors, or just tricks of lighting in the game, or just bad screen caps, like just pause at a bad time, like in a YouTube video, like you might get me talking like this, and you get like a weird, pitch or whatever. I get that, I guess. And they were saying we were told we were incels for even questioning it. As a game dev, I knew this was BS. As gamers, you knew it was BS from the comparisons with Asian games. Now, I don't want to say like super hardcore that like there's like a big conspiracy theory about like making women ugly or something like more in depth than it might be. But I think the idea behind them is just trying to say like, hey, let's not make like a crazy, beautiful, like crazy, way too looking character. Think Stellar Blade. Let's try to get something more on the realistic side. But as you guys probably know, and this might be my hot take, I don't know. Feel free to go make fun of me down below. But there is sometimes people who are just bad, like 3D modelers. Like if you kind of think about it as well, sometimes trying to go make something that's purposely average might make you think it's below average and might actually insult people more. Now, it's kind of me just kind of talking, but it's like you kind of traditionally imagine like what's easy to draw, like a nice, beautiful princess, something like that, sure. Or like say like a Stellar Blade, the 3D model that. And I think maybe some people get offended by that, or they want to have this like maybe equality when it comes to looks, I guess, in games. Like, this might just be my crazy takes as well. I don't know. But I'm trying to get to the point of more, if you have to force it, sometimes if you force it too hard, it doesn't come off like organic or realistic, and it kind of ruins the merit of what you're trying to go and push out. It's kind of when people virtue signal way too hard to the point where you're like, we get it, but you're kind of just like, you did a little too much. I don't know, maybe this is a hot take, maybe it's not, I don't know. But anyway, this kind of big idea is also stating that there is issues on actually getting like funding and people like putting money into these game characters, or like assuming some of these characters are wrong. And I'm just going to show you guys some of the characters itself in the actual game. And it's kind of like this idea. Like, this is a perfect example over here, where this character looks like, I'll be honest, this looks like a PS3 game. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, look at the actual, like, body. Like, look at the shadows. Like, what on earth is this? Like, it is a really just poorly done scene. Or it's going to showcase some of the other characters too as well, where like they're just not as quote unquote attractive as you'd traditionally go and assume. And people were calling this out. Like, people were discussing this too as well. And I'm not really sure if this is too much of like a right versus left type thing, and I'm trying not to make it like that. But some people are kind of noticing things even for like some characters, and they try to get rid of like some of the character assets for like what they try to put in the games, and try to get rid of like, you know, curves and everything else, and like trying to just be a little bit too safe. Now, this is going to be even a little bit more on the riskier side for the video. I'm going to kind of freeball some of these kind of conversations, so it hopefully doesn't sound so incel-y or bad or whatever. And I think I try to summarize it up a little bit good. I think some people are... The world's a weird spot. Like, this is me getting a little bit real scrubbing over here, so don't mind. The world's in a weird spot. There's always a lot of big, like, cross-section between, you know, right and left, or this and this, or what's wrong, what's right, what's too far, what's not. And I don't want to be one of those people who don't think that there's, like, issues in the world we got to fix, we got to work on. But I'm also one of these people that kind of think that sometimes things are definitely non-issues. And we kind of see this a lot in gaming, and that's kind of why I brought up some like the virtue signaling and people going a little bit too far. Like I said, and I'll use my own words, my own example, my own brand new thoughts. Stellar Blade was a good game. I greatly enjoyed it, to the point where I have played like thousands of games. I'm on Twitch all the time. If you guys want to follow on Twitch, follow the Twitter and stuff, subscribe, whatever you guys can. But I'm on like content all the time. I have played so many games. I've done sponsors for new games and AAA games and mediocre games. And the only reason why I'm throwing that on in here too, to be like, I have like done proper reviews, and some people, probably not that many at the end of the day, but some people do care about what I think about games and how I push it. And one thing to note is if games don't necessarily play their games, and another big thing is if people don't necessarily understand the audience. And that's like a lot of big combinations, because there's the combination of two for this idea of like beautification and uglification in women, because Stellar Blade's the perfect example. That game was a well-made game, and I brought up all these games I played because that's a top-tier game, and I played a lot of games. Like, it generally is a really good game. I liked it, and this is a rarity for me, because I'm like getting older, and like I play like League of Legends and like StarCraft, dude. Like, I play weird games. Like, I don't even enjoy playing Call of Duty nowadays. I'll obviously be playing a lot of Elden Ring, but all these games aside, those are the games that are good that they just don't care. Stellar Blade was like, we're going to make a good game and our character's going to look good looking. That's fine. That's dope. But why were people against that? It was based on an actual legitimate, like, living woman. So it's not like unattainable standards, and people complain about that. And then you also had like the head honchos for the entire game studio shift up is a woman. So it's quite literally a woman who is overseeing this stuff and making the stuff happen and approving and being like, I don't care. I'm a woman myself. I want to play hot girls in games. And why is that bad? Like, for both the guys and the girls and like gamers like me, I don't want to go and have some ugly character just because you're trying to go and appease the masses. And this might be hot takes. I don't know. Like, I don't mind if someone's black in the game. You want some representation. That's good. Make the character good. I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. And I do think maybe games as a whole can do that better. Same with movies. But once you try to force things and it becomes inorganic, that's when things become the issue. I don't care if someone's black. I don't care if someone's gay. I don't give a at all. But the idea is when you try to force this into games and you try to go and average out games or try to go make it seem inorganic and to the point where it becomes too far, that's really where this issue is. And I do generally think that some of the characters, like, why do you have to remove a butt for a game? It doesn't matter. Like, most people playing the game are probably old enough to not care at the end of the day. It's not going to be their first time ever seeing any of this. And that was why some games like Stellar Blade make me sad. Or games like Fable. Because I think Stellar Blade should exist. It's a good-looking game with a good-looking girl with a lot of really good animations and unique characters, and they put in effort. And I want more effort in games. But for Fable, there was a correction with the old character's face because it did look weird. But I don't care if the character is ugly, strange, or whatever if they're a good character. But if you're trying to seemingly force it for whatever reason, then it's just not organic and it doesn't feel right. Make games, make characters organic. Don't try to fit an agenda, because at that point, once you try to fit the agenda, you're kind of circling the agenda more. Make the world just normal and don't even second question it, and just make it normal, make it chill, and people are going to be like, this is a good character. Like I said, if someone's gay, someone's black, someone's guy, girl, whatever, if they're a good character and they're well designed and they look cool, I don't care. Like, I have made some of the biggest monstrosities of my own character creations where I'm like a 3D monster. Like, I'm looking like I'm 117 years old and I'm 5'2", and I look like I have an arm that's the size of a boulder for whatever reason. You give me a fun game and I don't care. You don't have to fit my agenda. You don't have to fit anything. The only agenda you need to go and fit is making a fun game and appeasing to the gamers. I don't really know what this video turned into. I just think that a lot of people in the world sometimes are too fake, and if game devs are also trying to be a part of that, that's where they make the games not fun. We only care about fun games that are enjoyable, and they're like, not, like that's what I care about, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to upload this video. It's kind of a little bit of a yap session over here, but I appreciate y'all for watching it regardless. Just, I don't know, give me your thoughts on anything over here. The more of the story, so hopefully never get like someone yelling at me too hard. I just like it when people are organic and games are fun. And if you try to have to focus on too many outside sources besides just the main core component of making a good game, of making it fun that I want to play with my buds or when I come home from work, that's where you're missing out on gaming. And sometimes there's issues leading to other things that are to that, and all I want to do is play a fun game. So, I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on.